are live. We are live. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We made it. We made it to Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. We are so excited that you're joining us here on Just a Little Bit More. And you know, at Just a Little Bit More, we're dedicated to getting just a little bit more information. We love to get a little bit of tea, and we always like to end it with a whole lot of love. Tonight, I have world-renowned doctors, America's doctors, Doctors George and Kimberly Johnson. I always say they're another dynamic duo that we are glad to have on the show tonight. And really, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but I want to give them some shine. I always say my brother, Bishop George, Dr. George. Yes, he a bishop and a doctor. You can do it all.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite motivational speakers. You know, they have Les Brown, they have E.T., the motivational speaker, but he is one of my favorite motivational speakers. And if you are listening to this and you need a motivational speaker, book him today. Book him right now. You know, and now he'll church it up, but he also can do corporate events. Book him today. And the best financial literacy person, the person who told me that you need a savings account when I didn't know how to do it, when I was spending all my money, she is literally the business guru, the best finance person, Dr. Kimberly Johnson. I'm just so thankful to have y'all on the show. I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves, tell the people who y'all is, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get right into it.
Awesome. I'll let you go first. I mean, you did an awesome job.
You did a good job, Jonathan.
I need to get this recording so I can play it in the morning. I'm like, that's my cheerleader. But go ahead. I'll let you go first, sweetheart.
Well, like my brother said, I'm Bishop George Johnson Jr. This is my beautiful wife, Dr. Kimberly Johnson. We are the pastors and founders of the Way of Success Christian Fellowship. We also run a television network called Success Nation Network, where we operationalize the vision of taking the church beyond the four walls into the community. We try to make Jesus reachable, touchable, and palatable to all people. So
that's good. Say that again. That was deep.
And so we just operationalize the vision by mainly using television network, social media, platforms like we're on right now, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And our main focus is faith, family, power, and purpose.
That's right. That's right. He said that's who we are. I'm Dr. Kimberly Johnson, and I work side by side with my buddy, my best friend here, helping to take the gospel, take it to the four corners of the earth.
And when we're not preaching, we both are educators.
We're educators. We have 3 boys. We busy, y'all.
It's busy.
And we start exercising together. That's our date night. We exercise. Yeah. So if we start getting a little weary, we worked out today.
I'm realizing now your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
Your health.
My grandma said, she said, your health is your best friend.
Your health is your wealth.
Your best friend.
And my grandmother said all the time, thank God for a portion of health and strength. I don't want a portion.
I want it all.
I kind of want all.
I want all mine.
I want all of my health and all of my strength. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for having us, man.
Yes.
Good. Well, I am excited to have y'all. If you are tuning in, put your ear real close, because there's going to be some good conversation tonight. And can you like this? Can you share this? Subscribe. Also, at the end, I'll let Drs. George and Kimberly share their social media outlets so that you can connect with them. But if you're listening right now, like it, share it, subscribe it so that everybody can be a part of the conversation. Now, let's get into a little chit-chat. I always like to call it just a little chit-chat. Y'all, what is going on in the world? What is going on in the world? I think literally last week we had the shooting in Tennessee. They just had a shooting today in Louisville, Kentucky, I think at a bank. And it's almost a thing now, and it's sad to say that we're hearing about it monthly, about a mass shooting in America. It's horrible with anybody, but it hits a hard place for me when it happens to kids and at schools.
Yes.
Because I used to work with the young lambs, especially like elementary schools, and so it is a lot going on with this shit. What are y'all thoughts about? I mean, we don't have to get into the rules about should we ban all that stuff. I just what are y'all thoughts about the state of the world today with this mass shooting?
I think people feel one, mental illness.
Yeah.
The other, I think people feel overwhelmed, hopeless, and just in despair.
Yeah.
I really think that I think we are at a point in society where people don't see any other way. And that's really sad. And people don't know how to get help. People don't know how to pull themselves out of the spiral that they start
Yes.
falling into. And, and we see these types of situations, and it's becoming, like you said, more and more prevalent. It is astonishing what is taking place. It's really sad.
Right.
It's really sad. What do you think, sweetie?
Years ago, and I hate to go automatically go church. I hate to do that.
Don't go
But
church.
I remember years ago, I was in prayer, and my pastor said to me one time, he said, "For every answer," he said, "for every question, God has an answer." But when you look around, it seems like there is no answer, but there is an answer. And I believe what we're witnessing today is what you're beginning to see in the Bible of the last days. But however, here's what I want people to find comfort and solace in. This is not time for us to run behind our groups and run in our church and just pray. And it's time now for us to be the church in the community. It's time for us to really now start addressing those issues, like my wife said, those issues of mental illness, those issues of finances, those issues of racism, those issues of prejudice. It's really now time now for the church to open up and stop being just a social club. But now we got to really open up, because we have the answer to what's going on in the world today. We have the answer, man. But what has happened is we pushed people so far away that now they don't know where to turn to. They don't know where to go get help. They don't know who to cry out for. I was listening to this the other day, and I don't mean to go off topic, but they was talking about mental health. And the guy, it was some students. I was talking to some students, and the guy said, "Man, you crazy to go sit down and talk to somebody on that couch." And I said, "No, you're not."
No.
I said, "That's what you need to do. You
Yeah.
need somebody that you can talk to." But so many times we as men, we feel like we can't talk to anybody.
Well,
and I think people are living life in desperate silence.
And I just want to add to that, because of how we have gone in society and nothing's wrong with technology, but it seems like we have more access, but we're really becoming more isolated.
Right.
People don't have those connections anymore. And so we talk through these various devices, but you really don't have that one-on-one connection. We don't know what's going on with each other. And people are spiraling, but nobody knows, because they're putting a smiley emoji face on the computer. We're in and out. We don't engage with each other. And people are spiraling.
Right.
And nobody knows they're spiraling.
Right.
We don't have that intimacy like we should. We should. Just relationships.
Right.
And the thing, and I want to add on, this is another little a little chit chat. And I know this story may be a new, but I've seen this recently that they said the new pandemic is loneliness, and that a lot of people are feeling lonely. And I saw this video the other day where this girl was talking about she just wants a hug. She's like, she doesn't get that interaction from people, you know what I'm saying, that you usually do, because now everybody, after the pandemic, are scared to to hug or to be intimate like that. And I say it just very like we used to. You have to ask like do you want a hug, or is it okay for me to hug you? Because also too, we are also in the place of consent. You got to have someone's consent in order to hug or touch or anything like that. So what are your thoughts about that? Because I think it goes into hand in hand, because we just live in a very different society where people are afraid to touch each other.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary to me, where we're in a world where touch is something that is so needed, but we're moving away from it.
Well, think about it. There is research that shows, for example, the problems that can develop in children if they don't, when they're a young age or babies, they don't get so much touch, right? And you're right. So there is the pandemic piece, but then there's the other piece in our society. We've gone so far that, you got to be so careful, how you interact with people and how you embrace people. Can you embrace? Can you touch them? Can you hug? And so, but there is something in that human connection that people need. I remember I was up at my son's school, and I was literally in his room for just a few minutes and just smiling and talking to the kids. And I had kids come over. It was like, will you, can I have a hug?
Mm-hmm.
One kid asked me, said, will you be my mama? Which that almost brought tears to my eyes, because here I am just spending, I had been in there 10, 15 minutes. But that is so needed. And I don't think we realize how starved we are in that area.
Yeah.
We're seeing all these problems in society.
And you got to move beyond just a physical touch. You can touch people with your words.
Mm.
And we got to get back to that, learning how to conversate and touch people with our words, with our conversations, with our thoughts. Be engaging, be approachable.
Be present.
Be present.
Be present.
My wife said a very key word. We got to get back to connecting with people. It's been for so long, them over there and us over here, or them over there. I'm from this side of the track, you from that. We got to get beyond that now. And now we got to get to a place where we begin to connect with people no matter where they are and begin to touch people with our words.
And I think that's a very valid point. When someone when you've connected with someone, and a lot of times we're just surface level. We just do the surface things to interact and engage, the right stuff. But when you've been connected, maybe one day this person will be on the show, but I'll give you an example. My mother-in-law, her name.
Oh, I wish you would. Can you do a plug?
Maybe
she
one
is
day
the most sought after guest. I didn't try to get her on here. Please say that she'll be a great guest. Say that again. Hopefully
Valerie
she'll come
Johnson.
on
She'll be a great
but
guest.
when you interact with her, I have interacted with a lot of people. But when you've connected, she has a way of just connecting with you.
That's what I'm saying. Going
and
beyond
giving her attention to
just
you.
Physical touch. And
you
she may
feel
not
it.
ever hug
She
you.
might not hug you because she might not do all that.
But she has a way to make you feel connected and engaged. And when you leave her presence,
you
feel
feel better.
I've known her my whole life.
Yeah.
I think that's what we can do to get back to healing people with our words and healing people with our conversations. We got to get back to that.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into tonight's topic. And I call this part, what's really going on? But what tonight's topic is how to overcome adversity. I think a lot of people in this world are feeling hopeless. They're feeling hopeless. Have y'all saw gas prices? My God.
Eggs. It's eggs. Have you seen?
That'll take your wind out a little bit.
My baby.
You see how much your gas is, Lord. And so people are just looking at the rising cost of things. You are looking the news cycle and the loop of the news cycle of things that are going on, pending wars, all those things, shootings. You'll feel hopeless. And so I want you guys, because like I said, I think, my favorite motivational speaker, and Dr. Kim just has a way of just putting the words together. But I want to encourage people, because I believe people from all walks of life are feeling this. They are feeling hopeless. And I really want to encourage people tonight that you can overcome and that it's still hope.
Okay, so there is a balance to everything, right? I think one of the first keys in dealing with that is monitoring your environment and what you let come in. Sometimes I had to put some stuff into check. The constant, and I was taught from a very young age to be aware of what's going on. No, you're not supposed to walk around ignorant, not knowing what's going on, but there is a balance. With the 24-hour news cycle and everything popping and binging on your phone, you have to be selective and not constantly feed yourself that stuff every day, all night, all day, all night. Because faith comes by hearing. And if you just hear doom and gloom all the time, that will begin to impact you.
Mm-hmm.
I start having issues. I kind of start feeling like anxiety was trying to come on to me. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I start feeling stressed and anxious, and just all of this was going on. And I began to realize what I was feeding myself. And like my husband said, not trying to go out church, but I know one day I was in the shower and I woke up in the morning and I was feeling that way. And what was laid on my heart was like, don't focus on that. Even sometimes good things, the to-do list, don't focus on that. but start thinking about all the good things that are going on, all the good things. And when I did that, it began to shift for me. So we have to be careful what we're feeding ourselves. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're feeding ourselves. And I'll give you this one example. I remember when my son was little, he was my youngest son was little. Again, being aware. I woke up, I grew up. When you wake up in the morning, you cut on the news, see what's going on, weather report, hear the latest. And one day, my young son, he was in pre-K. He told me, and it shocked me. He started talking about, he was scared that he was going to get shot by the police.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm like, where did he get that from? And then I realized, although I had it on for me, he was near me. Yeah. And so he was feeding on it just as well. We have to be mindful of what we're taking in. And sometimes I don't think we realize it because it's normal. The TV's going, your phone's beeping. If you're on your computer, you have news flashes coming across, and you're just constantly feeding yourself that, and you're not feeding yourself anything else.
And I want to just put this tidbit in. While you guys are listening, please put in ways that you are overcoming, right? And Dr. Kim brought up a great point of just even changing, not putting on the news in the morning. It's a simple gesture, but it was a way that helped deal with that anxiety and that worry of the day. So if you put those in the comments and your feelings and thoughts to be a part of the conversation, because we all need this code, just a little more community wants to know ways that we can overcome or ways that we can beat that anxiety. I'm sorry, Dr. George, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's good. I mean, that's perfect. I was listening as I was thinking. I thought about years ago. I got a word from my pastor. He told me, he said, hope is a gift from God. I say that because my wife and I, we were in a situation where it was hopeless. I mean, it was very, very grim. I mean, when I say grim, I can't define to you how, to this day, I don't like tuna fish. Anybody know me? I don't want to eat no tuna fish. I had to eat tuna fish every day. It was horrible. I mean, it was just
like tuna fish sandwiches.
I can't do no tuna fish.
I try to pull out a can every once in a while. I can't get him to take
I can't do tuna fish because we had literally lost everything, and it was hopeless. I was working a dead-end job, hopeless. It was really hopeless when you don't make enough money to pay your bills. You're going to work every day, but you don't have enough money to pay your bills. Hopeless. People that I thought was my friend, that I thought would never betray me, I thought would never walk out on me, left and walked out on me. One of my best friends, who I thought was my best friend, came and just really took pictures of one of my lowest moments and just put them out there as if I was doing something wrong, to just almost embarrass me. You know, you're talking about being hopeless. But here's the thing. One of my favorite speakers says this: if you know the why for living, you can endure anyhow.
Say that again.
If you got to find the why for living. Yes, you got to find the why for living. What is your why? What is your why? Maybe it's your child that is depending on you each and every day. Maybe it's your spouse that loves you, even though we're not getting along right now, but they can't imagine life without you. Maybe it's that parent that need you, and you know that if you end it all, they don't have enough, they're not going to make it. Maybe it's, I don't know, you got to find the why for living. And once you find that why for living, you got to find out that, you know what, you got to have a doggedness about it. And what I mean by that is you got to have a kind of dog in you that I'm not going to allow my life to end this way. I'm not going to give in to the temptation of quitting. Everything around me is not working. And one of my favorite speakers says this: you got to use no as your vitamin, rejection as your vitamin. Just because that person don't love you does not mean you're not lovable, baby. Just because that person don't want to be married to you does not mean you're not marriageable. And I don't even know if that's, well, I'm a doctor, I can make up words.
Marriageable. Okay.
You have got to find the why and the dog for why is it that I'm going to give up. And once you find that why, You got to have that doggedness, not to let it go, not to stop, not to quit. I don't care what it is. And I don't know who lied to us and told us life was going to be easy. I don't know who lied to people and said that. Life is not easy, but it does not mean you cannot win. And just because it looks like you're losing does not mean you're losing. And so you got to find that why, that dog, and you got to go after with every fiber of your being.
Look, let me.
It's not hopeless.
And I'm trying to remember, and you might have to refresh me as to what the question was, but something came to mind when you said that. I think also hopelessness, we have to be careful with as much access that we have, social media and all that. We compare our lives to people and we don't know the details of those people's lives. My uncle said one time, he said, you don't know how people sleep at night.
You don't.
You need to look at your life and run your race. You don't know what's going on. We have worked with couples and people over the years. You'll be amazed. Some of the nicest looking couples that open the door, they tearing each other up behind closed doors. You don't know. So you looking at people's pictures and you don't know what's going on in people's lives. People are showing you highlight reels and they're showing you what they want you to see. So stop comparing your life. I remember one time I was going through something and I talked to my pastor and I began to, I felt bad because I felt like I couldn't handle the things. And I thought I wasn't doing enough. And I was just kind of beating myself up. And I mentioned another person and he just thought, he said, whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, you're not comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. This is this person's life. And at that time, that person didn't have as many things on their plate. So they could do what seems like all this extra stuff. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop comparing. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting goals. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I know God is able and we can accomplish that. But you don't know the details of people's lives. You don't know how they sleep at night. You only know what they show you. And so many people are beating themselves up because they're comparing themselves to images, mirages of things that really don't exist.
And I don't want to be all over the place, but I just heard this. If you listen to everything that me and my wife said tonight, we've always said, we sat down and we talked to somebody and they said this. We sat down and we heard this tape and we heard this. We sat down and somebody talked to us and they said this. What am I saying? If you listen to the common thread that we've said tonight, you don't have to do life alone. It's not meant for you to do it alone. You may feel like you are alone, but you are not alone. Because when you get in that place of isolation and that loneliness, you'll feel like you're the only one that's dealing with that. And you're not.
Yeah.
It's a whole community of people that are fighting the same fight, battling the same battle you have. Find you somebody you can trust. Find you somebody you can talk to. Find you somebody you can confide in. And listen, and I'm gonna tell you now, I'm a bishop. My wife's. We've been in the ministry a long time together. Find you somebody that's not gonna give you church answers. What do I mean by that? When you tell them your heart and you open up to them and they tell you, baby, just pray about it. Bro, I've been praying. I'm praying. I've been doing it. You know, say you need somebody that's not going to give you a whole bunch of scriptures. Now, the scriptures are good, but sometimes you need somebody who's going to keep it a buck with you. You need somebody to put 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody that when you crying, they telling you, babe, I feel like crying too. And maybe we can cry together, but you ain't going to stop at crying. We're going to come out of this together. And after you cried, go get your hamburger, milkshake, and we talk this thing out and we walk this thing out together. You got to get somebody that's approachable, that's reachable, that you can touch. That's one of the things I love about Jesus. When you would talk to Jesus, when he talked to farmers, he talked about farming. When he talked to scholars, he talked about the Bible. When he talked to other people, he talked their language. Find somebody
who can speak your language,
that can empathize with the language that you need. And you can walk out of this thing together. Don't do it by yourself. Life is not meant to be lived alone.
You can overcome. You can overcome. I think that is the common thread. It is some powerful knowledge and some things that you guys have shared. You can overcome. and you're not in this alone. Do the things that will make you or help you overcome your anxiety and your worry. Put those things into practice. And like Dr. George said, talk to somebody who speaks your language. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Talk to a therapist, if it's a success coach, and if it's a pastor, talk to somebody who speaks your language.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff, y'all. That's good. That's good. Now I'm gonna end it with this little game. That I wanted to do a surprise with y'all because I think it'd be fun. But it's called Just a Little Bit More or Please No More. So just a little bit more is things that you really, really like, or things or please no more. You'll be like, oh, I don't really, really like that. It's not that good. Okay.
Please no more tuna fish.
Right. Tuna fish is not on there. Okay. Fried chicken, just a little bit more, or please no more.
Just a whole lot more.
Please no more.
Just a whole lot.
Please no more, Kim.
I'm not a big chicken eater. No.
No, she's not a big chicken eater.
All right. So we got just a little more, please no more. Okay. Now this is one of my things that Dr. George cooks really good. Fried fish.
Just a little more.
Just more, please no more.
Just a little more. Just a little more.
Okay.
Just fried fish, just not tuna fish.
Yeah. I can
Chocolate cake. Just a little bit more.
Just a little
please
more.
no more.
Just a little more. I just started doing chocolate.
Take it off the planet.
Just a little without the calories. Not fat free count. I just don't want the calories to get in my, come on me. But more.
All right, the last one, and this is a fun one because we also, I know we love food and our family love food. The last one would be Valerie Johnson pound cake. Just a little more, or please no more.
Just a whole lot more.
A lot more. A lot
Y'all
more.
better answer it because she was gonna be listening, dog.
A lot more.
Just a whole lot more.
A lot more.
Well,
I got problems with that.
I eat her chicken salad.
He'll eat her tuna fish too.
Not no tuna.
So you're gonna have to do another session on couples that they eat their mama food, but then claim they won't eat it no other time. That's another session.
That's a therapy session.
That's a therapy session.
Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Just a Little Bit More. Dr. George, Dr. Kim, can you please tell people where they can go and follow you? Where are your social media handles? What's all that stuff?
You can follow us on Success Nation Network on YouTube, also on Facebook, Success Nation Network, or Bishop George Johnson Jr.
All right. Connect, y'all. Please follow, connect, subscribe, like, share, do all the things.
You didn't say it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you had one more? You said you had one more?
No, he asked, did he say it too fast? I said he didn't say it too fast.
I think they got it. And make sure that you are commenting, sharing, subscribing to all the platforms of Just a Little Bit More. Connect with us next Tuesday. We will be live at 6:30. Until next time, please feel that you're not alone. You can overcome. You can overcome. You will get through this. This is only temporary. I hope you share some love with yourself today. Have a good day. Hey, see you later. Wave back to the folk. Boop, boop. See y'all later. I got to get my closing news. I keep forgetting every time. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.